My name is Chris Eimer. I'm the crew chief for Dai Yoshihara's Turn 14 BRZ. We're out here at Irwindale for the season finale, round 8 for Formula Drift. Basically what I do is we prep and maintain race cars for Formula Drift and all other types of racing. I was doing a lot of off-road stuff for the last 15 years, and then that kind of went away. So then I got an opportunity to work with a Formula Drift team with Falken Tire 7 years ago. I worked with them for 2 years, and then I started working with Dai specifically for the last 5 to 6 years, and building this car and maintaining it and taking it to the track and being the crew chief and handling basically all the aspects of this vehicle. I built this car in 2013 to compete in the 2014 Formula Drift Series. We built it from the ground up. As it came, it had 1,000 miles on it. It was a brand new demo Subaru BRZ. It got completely stripped to nothing, and then it got acid dipped to take off any of the remnants of a car other than the sheet metal, and then we customized it from there. This car was originally a left-hand drive, normal North American BRZ. We converted it to right-hand drive 2 years later after initial build because A, Dai prefers right-hand drive, and B, it helped us package the engine and transmission and turbocharger a lot better, and it suited the car easier. So with him being able to be right-hand drive capable, it made more sense. And it kind of gives it its own appeal. It's the only one that has been competing in Formula Drift since. The power plant in this car is a LS-based short block Chevy. It's all custom from there. It has a G-force transmission, a Winner's quick change rear end, has a Garrett turbo, and custom-made headers, intake, and everything else. Horsepower-wise, the car makes 900 horsepower and about 950 foot-pounds of torque. That's a conservative setting for this car. This is the number that we feel that the car is capable of producing all year round, no issues, and reliable, so we can run the same engine the whole season. Much more power than that. The car actually didn't technically go any faster. We run between 15 and 20 pounds of boost depending on grip level and if he needs to go faster or not. The most tuning changes we make for the different tracks will be the gear ratio in the quick change rear end. We'll cater that to put the gears where Dai wants them to be able to change them quickly while in drift. And then shock tuning is the other crucial key that we change with, and sway bar. And we change a little bit of the front suspension in the steering rack location, depending on the type of track that we're running, if it's either a banked track or a flat surface track. So the suspension on this car is all one-off suspension. When we first designed the car, there really wasn't much for it because it was still a new chassis to the series. And not a lot of people have had the car to develop anything, so we had to start with our own, and we've just left it at that. And it caters to our car specifically being right-hand drive, the motor layout, and it's all one-off stuff. We have spares, but it's still one-off. I make it all in-house in our shop. This car comes with a boxer motor, so the frame rails are wider spread. So in drifting, you got to be able to have a lot of angle. So the tire moves a lot. So the car has to be significantly wider than the normal car to be able to allow us to have this type of steering angle. And because of the wider set frame rail, that poses a problem. This car is actually very wide in the front, like barely fits on the trailer. So we've been fighting a interesting scenario that we have never ran into, where it was actually pulling the arms apart, which is not something that normally happens. Normally, when that happens, there's been contact with the car. So we had to make on-the-fly little gussets to try to keep it together so that it wouldn't fall apart during competition. So today, when Dai went up against Kangushi, when he was following him, he had a slight bobble where the engine didn't provide enough power that he was looking for. We took a quick look under the engine and nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary. So then we went to the computer and pulled the data and kind of was looking through to see if we see anything that's out of the ordinary. And we found out that what it looks to be is we had a map sensor go bad right at that exact moment, and it stayed bad because you can see that in the data where everything was good, and then at that point it flatlined and stayed the same. Okay, the brakes on this car are developed by StopTech. It has 6-piston front calipers with vented rotors, and then it has dual 4-piston calipers in the rear, one for the handbrake and one for the actual foot brake. So the tires and wheels that we run on this car is we run a Titan 7 T5 wheel. That's a signature wheel for Dye. It even has his name on the wheels themselves because, you know, it's got it like that, I guess. For the tires, we run Falken RT 660 up front, which is a 245 18. And in the rear, we're running the Falken Zenith 615K Plus 295 40 18. So a little bit about this car is it has a custom roll cage catered to this specific vehicle. I built the cage as tight as possible to allow for the most visual room. It has the fuel cell and the dry sump tank are in this carbon fiber enclosure where the back seats would normally be in the stock vehicle. In the very back of the car, there is a custom radiator in a kind of V-mount location that has an electric water pump, and we don't run a water pump in the front. It's just plumbed straight to the front. And then in the very back, we run a dry brake system that allows for fuel to be pumped in seconds instead of minutes, which speeds up our tire changing ability. We can get them off the track and then back on the track with fresh tires for more practice. It has a true carbon fiber roof that is a skin that is riveted onto it. Has true carbon fiber mirrors. The car runs a Garrett 48 series turbo. It has tile 65 millimeter wastegates, dual, one on each header side. And then they wise into a V-band turbo. The headers are all custom for this particular application. Has a Wilson intake manifold that's custom made to be lower so that it fits underneath the hood, so we don't have to cut the hood. KW shocks, front and rear, 3-way competition coilovers. It has a Motec ECU, Motec PDM, Motec display. The sponsors I'd like to thank would be Falken Tire, Turn 14, Titan 7, Garrett, Ineos, Competition Clutch, StopTech, King Bearings, ARP Fasteners, KW Suspensions, WPC. And if you'd like to see more about this car and the things that we do, follow us on IG at Eimer Engineering.